Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? You know, I haven't actually gotten the hard copy yet, but I've gotten the free PDF that comes with it. I ordered some Advanced Fighting Fantasy, and that is a really cool game. I got turned on to the game a while ago by YouTube poster JDRD30, Francois Letarte, and he promoted the game, and I finally, broke down and got it. And I'm liking the game more than I thought I was going to like it. And I thought I was going to like it a lot, and it's really cool. Like, to the point where any given campaign idea I might have at this point, really looking at the game, I'd probably have to flip a coin and decide, do I want to play something like Lamentations with this or Advanced Fighting Fantasy? It's that good. So if you like real simple mechanics and kind of old school goodness and just kind of a game that's really rules light but really cool, I'm digging this. I dig a lot of it. So anyhow, I don't want to gush about the game because I'd rather do that in a different video. This is about the 2d6 mechanic. That's the roll low mechanic, which is an unopposed roll. And so I'm going to talk about how it works and kind of the fluff, at least the fluff I made up in my own head for why this is really cool and mimics real life. And some of the probabilities. And the reason I wanted to talk about the probabilities is because it's harder to wrap your head around a multiple die roll like a 2d6 than it is a straight up, like, say, d20 roll. Because it's not linear, and like when your score goes up by a couple points, it acts a lot differently. And if you're using modifiers, it acts a lot differently. If you're a D6 system fan, you'll probably laugh at me because you probably know all the stuff already. But for me, I kind of got it. I've used 2d6 mechanics in D&D for years, but they weren't central. They happen every once in a while. Here was something. Well, this is how the whole darn thing works. So let me take a look at it. It was really kind of interesting, and I just dig how the game works in general. One of the things that this whole system, the game, does in general is it kind of shrinks a little bit, like the power spread of like new characters and characters that have been around for a while. To be honest, in terms of their probability of succeeding and just how competent they are, a brand new hero, because that's what they're called in this game, kind of feels like they're already like 4th, 5th level, something like that, which is pretty cool. And then the way they advance you, it's a point-by system in the beginning, and then you actually, you get experience points. I think it's 50 experience points in adventure, and you can kind of buy different stuff with that. You don't just have to level. You can figure, well, what do I want to improve in? And so we'll talk about the global skill characteristic, or whatever the heck they call it. It's not a stat, it's something else, whatever it is. Skills range from 1 to 12. And in order to succeed at some kind of thing, you show up and I have to climb a wall now. We're going to use a climbing example. All right, you've got to roll your skill or less on 2d6. And normal people have a skill of about 5 or 6. Heroes can have anywhere from 4 to 7. The reason is you start out with 4. You can spend points on your skill attribute, but you can only spend 3. That's the max. If you've got a generalized skill of 4 and you're going to go climb this wall or anything else, you have a 16 2/3 chance of success. Not that great. If you have a 7, it's 58.33. Huge, like 41%, just about 41% better at being able to do that. So skill points are worth a lot. And also in the middle of the scale, they're worth a whole lot. They're worth about like 14, 16 points right in dead center of the scale. As you go closer to the ends, they get closer to being worth about 5. But that's at the dead end. So somewhere in the middle, it's about like 10-ish because it's nonlinear. So anyhow, what happens next though is you got this new character, and say you just spent all your money or a lot of your points on skill. You get to choose a whole bunch of other things you're skilled at. And the book has a whole list of stuff, and some stuff looks like deep skills, and some stuff kind of looks like little D20 things like climb. But and there's the magic things. There's using a sword, which is more of a opposed roll thing. So I'll talk about that a different time. But you get to spend those. You get to choose 10 skills you have 1 point in. These special skills you can have from 1 to 4 points, period. You can either be like just a novice to like a master. You also get to choose 3 skills that you have 2 points in, so you're really good at this. So let's say our guy he puts 2 points in climb. Now he's got something like an 83% chance at a 9, somewhere around. I go look, yeah, I'm gonna cheat. Yeah, it's got about 83. So really good. Let's say our guy is a rogue or thief or specialist. So he wants to climb something, or stealth, maybe put some points in stealth, or like opening locks too. He's already got like 83% chance of success. He's instantly relevant on an adventure, even if he's playing with some guys who've been around for a while. That's really cool. So what else happens though? There's actual modifiers that are situational. So say you're climbing, this guy goes to climb the wall, and say it's got a +2 because it's got a lot of handholds and whatnot. That bumps him up from a 9 to like an 11 in that example. Now he's got to hit an 11 because he's really good at climbing. So now he's got a 97% chance. What happens though when you're really skilled at something, how it kind of mimics real life? If you get a +2 modifier, to your advantage, it's going to affect you to a certain extent. But if you get a -2, like say this wall is just really slippery, now this guy goes from 83 back to 58. It affects him worse if it's a negative modifier, which kind of makes sense. You're the guy that's really good at climbing walls. Okay, it's got a lot of handholds. Okay, it's easier, but you're probably already getting up the wall anyway. Now it's really slippery. All right, that's making it kind of closer to 50-50 range, that a normal person might have. If you're a guy like me, well, maybe you got a 4 in climbing the wall, okay? And so a plus, is going to take me from like a 16-17% chance of success. A +2 is going to take me up to about 41% chance. It's going to give me a much better chance of getting up that wall. Whereas, okay, I've got a -2. I'm on the bottom end of the scale. All right, it's going to take me from 16-17% down to like about almost 3, a little less than 3% chance. Let's face it, I wasn't getting up that wall either way. It's going to be a miracle. Okay, it doesn't matter, if it's a 15-16% chance of success or 3%. Probably not getting up that wall. Kind of mimics real life a little bit. So that's my imaginary fluff as far as this is concerned. The other thing that happens in that game at that point is you get to buy more skill. The game normally tells you that adventure should cost you or like net you about 50 XP, and there's no levels, so it's just that's kind of a flat thing that happens across the board. If I want to buy extra ranks, which is, I think I just made that word up myself from D20. If I want to buy another point in one of these specialized skills, I can only buy them one at a time, and so the cost is 10x XP times the new skill score. So I want to buy another point in climb. I want to have 3 points in climb. Remember, I can only have 4 as a max. Now it's going to cost me 30 XP to do that. So most of my adventure goes towards that. If I want to get better in that, there's no rule that says you have to spend your points all the way, all at one time, or you can save them if you want to buy something big. What's really big? Buying an extra global skill point. So say I want to go from 7 to 8. At that point. It's going to cost me 20 XP times the new score. So I want to have a score of 8 skill points now. So that's going to cost me, what is it, like 160 XP in order to do that. So it ends up costing me quite a bit, like a few adventures. And the more skill ranks I want to get, if I want to have a skill of 10, it's going to cost me 200 XP. I can only buy them one at a time. That's really cool, though. I like this really simple mechanic that kind of makes the characters, you have a global skill. You're about that good at everything because you're that cool of a guy. Or, maybe if you're like me and have a 4, you're not all that good at stuff. I like that vibe, and also the vibe that, like, you can have these areas where you just get really skilled in, and you're super relevant. Also, what happens is, as you're buying more points and becoming more and more skilled in stuff, it gives you improvements. But those improvements, the gaps between where you used to be and where you're going, they get smaller and smaller. So it costs you a lot more XP to get a little bit better. So it squeezes the competence of the new guy and the old hand down a little bit. I really kind of like that. It's a neat vibe. So I'll talk about the unopposed or the opposed roll in a different video. I'm going to put like what the chances of success are. Based on your skill point level in the comment or the description of this video. And I made some graphs. I'm going to try to upload them on something. So it's not going to be today, but you might go down there and find like a link to like maybe I'll put them on a thread or something. And here's the graphs. Not just of what your chance of success is, based on what your skill point rank is, but also like, what does a +1 and +2, +3 modifier look like? In terms of like how that affects your score, because +3 modifier depending on where you are, which is huge. That's a huge modifier. +3 modifier, like if you're really skilled at something, isn't going to give you. It's going to net you something, but it's not going to be the incredible hit you take with a -3 modifier if you're really skilled. Ditto. If you're unskilled, -3 modifier is pretty bad, but it's nowhere near the bonus you get for a +3 modifier. So just kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. Somebody will put that up there. But I really like this game a lot. And like I said, it's probably coin toss. You know, if I come up with a campaign idea, do I want to use Lamentations or this? The game's that good. It's really cool. So, talk to you soon.